Good morning, everyone. I am Jenna Thomas, and I'm so excited to be with you today. I'm a mama of four littles. I have twin boys that are now 10 and two little girls, and each of them have such sweet spirits, giftings, and needs, as I'm sure you have found with all of your children too. As I've been raising my children alongside my husband Clay, we've overcome many obstacles, but we've also got to celebrate many joys. However, we've needed a community to come alongside of us, to pray for us, to worship with us, to love on us, to guide us as we hit different milestones with each of our children. So today, I want to invite you to come and join our community of Raising Kingdom Kids. In the chat, I have placed a link. If you haven't signed up before, click on that link. Sign up, you'll get an email. And after I share my journey, then we'll hop on a Zoom and have intentional time together. We can come and pray for you, where we can talk about raising kingdom kids, where we can celebrate the joys. If you've already been on, then you should automatically go ahead and get a link. And that link will then get you onto that community. So, guys, today I want to just kind of talk a little bit about parenting with intentionality. That sounds very vague, and it's vague for a reason. So, this whole thought came to me on our last day of school. My little Samuel, and I know y'all hear a lot about Samuel, came and said to me, Mama, thank you for always being there, for every school activity, for everything that we do. Thank you for building the activities. I had just built fishing poles for them. There's various things throughout the school year that we had to build or go and buy or do. He's like, you always are helping out in our class. You even had an ice cream social for us. He said, you know what, Mom? I probably don't always show it, but it means a lot to me. It means a lot that you're there at school and at golf. And I know I don't show it, but it makes me really, really happy too. He said, you know what, Mom? Can I tell you something? My friend, and he said his friend's name, his parents don't come to anything. We were talking about our Friday nights, family nights. He doesn't have any family nights. He doesn't have a parent that listens to him. So I told him that I could listen to him. He said, I really enjoy our talks, Mom. And so I'm trying to spend time to listen to him. But he says those talks go away when we're older. Do they go away? And Mom, I know you're looking at some different jobs and stuff. Will that time go away? Will it change? Wow, that hit me so intentional. It brought me tears of happiness, sadness, joy, all sorts of mixed emotions. Because my son saw how much he needed me and what I bring because of what God put in me. That time, whether it was with the school, with his golf, with the bedtime talks, with the after school talks, he needed that. And that was so important. And so it really made me think about how much we need to parent intentionally at all times, even during the busy season. And I used to be very, very good about that, about parenting intentionally, setting up that devoted time, making sure that we don't become so busy or say yes to too many things. But, in the last probably 6 months, I haven't been good about that. I've tried, and it's a little bit here and there. But, with Sam saying that to me, it really made me go, okay, whoa, we need a reset. We need to go back and think about what is parenting intentionally? What does that mean? And how do we do that? So I sat and I thought about it for the longest time. And I thought, you know what? Usually that parenting intentionally really, really involves me doing it, setting up our schedule, outlining everything. And I got to thinking about it. I am raising two little daughters that will be mamas, but I'm raising two sons that will be fathers. And when it comes to parenting, it's not just a mama parenting, it's not just a dada parenting. Some people, yeah, you are single parents, and so it is, and you are that, but you're both the mom and the dad. And that's, and it just really made me think, okay, If we're going to parent intentionally, Clay and I have to come together and do it together. So last week we had a really busy week with things. We had a funeral. We were at his Clay's parents' house, but we took the time and we sat down. And as we were driving, we sat down and we were talking about what is our plan for the summer. And you know what, guys, this is the first time as a couple that we did that. That we bonded that, you know what, we really want to be intentional. We get 18 years to pour into these kids, and then they go out and explore the world. And you know what? Too many times we were saying yes to things, and we were talking about that, how saying yes to, yep, we can cover your shift. Oh, yeah, we can help with that project. Sure, we can volunteer here. But when we did that, that took away time as a family. It upset our family dynamics. And so it was time that as we were setting out and outlining our summer, that we continued to have intentional time and that we are parenting intentionally. Intentional parenting, it means making purposeful decisions to spend time to connect with your kids. And last week I talked about connecting with our kids and the importance of it. But that connection can only occur if we're intentional about it. And so as I was thinking about it, what would you guys do if you had an extra hour every day that you could spend doing anything you wanted to do? What would you do? Put it in the chat. What would you be doing with that intentional hour? There's a lot of things that I could do. I could do some extra work. I could clean. I could do some laundry. I could also spend time with God or with my children. Or it's one of those things. What is it? If you had an extra hour, what do you intentionally want to do? For me, it was spend more time with my kids, with my spouse, or with God. Because as parents, we are bombarded on a daily basis with decisions, activities, tasks. I said it before, but in our home, we have opportunities to run and be in every activity you can dream of. But I also know what it feels like to be overscheduled, to run ragged. So when we started planning out, we set out that, you know what? We went back to our baseline, our foundation of every kid should only do one activity per semester. And there's a fall, there's a spring, and there's a summer. And in the summer, we do one camp. And you know what? We went back to Friday night as family nights. Because you know what? The month of May, we did it all school year. But the month of May, those family nights, it may have been, nope, usually it was movie or games and everybody chose. We ran instead. And we didn't have that connectedness, and we felt it in our family. So family time is so valuable that we have to manage it wisely. So why am I even telling you this? Why am I talking about parenting woo! Parenting and why we need to be intentional about it? Because guys, it trains and molds our child for the future. How do we want to spend our time? How do we want our children to spend our time? We say all the time, we want to train them up in the way that it will go. So when they're old, he will not depart from it. But are we showing that? Are we doing that? Guys, let me tell you, I want to encourage you today to really sit down with your husband, with your wife, or if you're a single parent, sit down with God and think about how can I parent intentionally with every decision I make? And this is why I want you to do that. Because did you know that when you do that, when you parent intentionally, you are helping your child in several ways. You are valuing family time. To me, that's huge. That kids learn that family time is a priority. They see their house as a home where there's love, a place to connect, a place that wants them. They feel connected, they feel welcome, they feel honored, they feel value. It's a safety net, not a place that as soon as I could, they want to leave. We went to a couple graduations and people are like, yeah, we can't wait to leave. You know what? I'm already out of the house next week. Oh, I don't know if I'll come back. And I heard a college graduate say, I mean, a high school graduate say that. And I thought, oh, it's just because they're excited for college. And my husband said, you know what? I was that person. I was that one that couldn't wait to get out of the house and never come back. And you know what? He didn't. He left and he did not come back to his house or have that connection with his family until him and I got engaged and married. And you know what? I don't want that for my kids. And I know you don't want that for yours. So, that valuing of family time. And that's why we are saying no to things on Friday night, because we want that time to connect from the week where we can love on one another. We can giggle. We can be silly. We can have fun. We can communicate. The other thing it teaches and shows our kids is valuing rest when we parent intentionally. When we're overscheduled, when there's too much, our kids get exhausted. We get exhausted. We say things we don't mean. People get crabby. We're pulled in too many directions. We're frazzled. And we're just like, ah! No, we don't always realize the importance of rest. So we have to be intentional that we are getting the rest. And kids need to learn rest because it's important for them, for effectiveness, for connectedness. It's important rest to listen to what God is telling us, for them to have that rest so they can grow in wisdom for the rest of their lives. Rest, it helps children mentally and physically prepare for the next set of life challenges. If we don't value rest, we see our children exhausted, acting out, not processing things properly. And when I was praying about the value of rest, God brought me to Psalms 23, and he said, he makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He restores our soul in rest. So by being intentional about it, we are valuing rest. We also teach them about valuing communication. The communication that we have. When parents are intentional in connecting as a family, their children learn how to listen, how to think, how to respond. What are those words that are coming out? They learn how to ask questions and how to share about their experiences, their thoughts, their feelings. Making time for connections is essential to learning about each other and growing as a family. That communication is important. Last night at our dinner table, I had worked a clinical shift and I got home and Daddy had been home with them all day. They built upstairs, they built this huge pretend camp area where they had their sleeping bags and their fire and their marshmallows and all of that. So it was a hot mess upstairs. And my husband had told them that they're going to have to clean it up. So we're sitting at the table, getting finished eating. People are asking, hey, can I be excused and get up from the table? And Clay said to them, hey, I need you to go pick up upstairs. And they're like, no, we don't want to. We're supposed to sleep up there. No, you don't have room to play. And so we need to pick it up and pick up at least some of it. You can leave it, your sleeping bags, be able to sleep there. And to me, I'm like, okay, that sounds fine. And the kids lost it. No, that's not fair. We built this. You said we could have this. You want this, and you were okay with it. Now we have to clean it up. Mom hasn't seen it. We want to play tomorrow. And they started just bickering and going back at each other. And I said, hold on. Let's pause for a second. Sam, let me hear from you. What are your thoughts? Let me hear how you are processing this. Addie, now Luke, now Clay, tell me what you're saying. And you know what? His whole concern was that, tomorrow night, which is tonight, I would have to clean it all up by myself because they would play, they would be doing things. And, Wednesday, we have cleaners coming. And so he's like, I don't want it to all be left on Mom. But we didn't communicate that. His whole thing was, okay, let's just get it cleaned up. You just have your sleeping bags. That way we know. Because he has to work all day today. And he's not home till later. And so, it's one of those things that is like, whoa, we're not going to bicker. We're not going to fight. Let's ask those questions. Let's pause and communicate. Let's talk to each other. Let's be open. Let's listen. Let's think through. Let's process. And I know this is a simple example, but you know what? Then they all came with an agreement. Hey, you know what? Yeah, we'll pick up tomorrow at 2 p.m. We are going to pick up. And this is what we're going to do. So it's not on mom. So we can still enjoy it and have fun tomorrow with what we built. But it's that teaching them how to communicate, how not just to go away angry, how to think through it, how to process it. Because conversations are important and how we connect and how we treat each other and how we respond. And so, you know what? Communication, we bring it back to our table. We bring it back to our family. We honor each other, respect each other. And on top of that, that reminds me, and I remind my kids, everything we bring to the feet of Jesus. All our communication, all our thoughts, all our processing. And you know what? By sitting down and connecting and doing that, we are communicating, not just as a family, but with God above. Parenting intentionally and having that intentional also teaches our kids about balancing time and priorities. Because kids from intentional homes better understand their energy level, their capacity. I mean, how many of you run and live a schedule where you are booked every minute of the day? So many of us do. We run, and you know what? I do it at work too, where every 30 minutes, every 15 minutes, every hour, I'm booked solid the entire day. And you know what? We tend to take and do that at home too. And so, guess what? Our kids are learning this and we're modeling it for them. Guilty. So, we need to balance our time and our priorities. You know what? We were so booked for the last 2 weeks that at night we just crawled in bed. We didn't even do Bible time. But I saw that effect. I saw that the bickerness, the not unsettledness. Like we got up from bed 10 different times, just that not peace and joy and rest. And it's because we had cut out what was the most important priority in our life. You know what? When we balance the time priorities, we are teaching our children then to agree, to learn when to agree to more activities and when to decline the opportunities. They also are better at letting worries or fears that dominate their decisions because they know their authentic relationship with God and that it's okay to say no when we need time to rest. It helps them with that proper balance. It also teaches our children to learn character formation, and the importance of serving others. We're not perfect models, and I'm the first to tell you I am definitely not perfect. But my imperfect model in teaching and parenting intentionally helps teach them that close relationship with Christ. Our kids learn honesty, responsibility, respect, the fruit of the Spirit. Addie found a magnet at grandma's house and she said, Mom, this is what we do all the time, the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, goodness, and self-control. But those can only be taught if we are intentional about it. And when they learn to serve in the home and outside the home. We taught our kids about serving because we intentionally at Christmas time serve other families, serve those in need because we are so blessed by God. And in turn, He allows us to show His love and serve others. When we're intentional, our kids show gratitude, maturity, discipline, and balance. This weekend, we really learned and saw that character formation come out, that communication, all these things that parenting intentionally has created in our children in Lucas. My kids love going to Papa's house because he has this huge shop and has every tool in the books. And he also has an area for turning wood where you can build things with wood. And so, you know what? They spent the last 4 days climbing up top, looking at all the woods, checking out these woods, deciding what they wanted to build. They built even this little, like, I call it an elevator, but this like levee thing that carried the wood up and down. And they'd climb up the ladder, be on top. And it's a pretty high. It's a doorway to a room. It's on top of it. And they build it with these levees and everything and hooked it on and these wrenches. And you name it, they were doing it. And they had so much fun. And then Sam said, Papa, can I have some one-on-one time with you? and build a birdhouse? And Papa's like, of course. And then Lucas wanted to build it too. But you know what? Sam took over. He controlled it. He did this. So Luke walked away. But his sweet heart was hurt and it was sad because he didn't get time with Papa. He didn't get to help with making those decisions. He felt excluded. And you know what? It was 8 p.m. at night, but I was so proud of him. After the birdhouse was built and everything was done, he talked to his brother and he said, I need to talk to you about what went on today. My feelings were hurt. You were controlling. You wouldn't communicate. You wouldn't listen to me. And it really hurt my feelings because I didn't get to be part of building this birdhouse. I didn't get to be part of this time with Papa. And we don't always get a lot of time with Papa, and it was special. And I wanted to. And it made my heart really sad, but I forgive you. But I want to communicate that so you can think about it in the future when we get more opportunities. And then he came and he pulled me aside and he's like, Mom, I want to talk to you. And so I go to talk to him and these tears just flow down. And he says, Mom, I'm really sad and my heart's sad because I didn't get to build something, Papa. I wanted something to bring home too. I wanted to have that special moment. And you know what? That time is so important. That family time, not just with our family here, which is the priority, but also extended family. And he said, I wanted to build a box, but we decided on a birdhouse, but I thought that would work. But then I didn't get to be part of it. So you know what? I talked to him and I said, well, let's go ask Papa. He goes, yeah, but it's 8 p.m. Yeah, it's 8 p.m. and we're tired and we're all exhausted and we've all been up until midnight almost every single night. But you know what? This is important. So we talked to Papa. We communicated and told Papa, my feelings were hurt. I wanted to build something. Can we take the next hour? Can we stay up a little later and build a box? And you know what? They did. And that was so important because we were showing him and he was learning the value of family time, the value of communication, the priorities of putting our family first, character, the character that comes with being honest, showing, talking, because that's what we do in the family. And you know what? Yeah, we were tired, but that connectedness, that memory, that moment will last a lifetime and will impact him when he's a father, when he's a grandfather or a great grandfather. That character made was worth it. So today, think about how are you parenting intentionally? What steps can you do to change it if you're not, to be intentional as a parent? The trait of intentionality is purposely designed hours and evenings for family. And sometimes the kids are going to have attitudes. Sometimes mine do too. And they don't want to play a game and they wanted to go to their friend's house or they wanted to do something else. So it's not always fun and easy, but that precious time that we spend with our kids have proven to us the effect of its worthiness. It is so worth it. Family time and connection is so valuable. And when you do that, you are showing them, when you're parenting intentionally, that you're valuing family time. You're valuing rest, communication, balancing time and priorities, and developing character. So this week, what can you do to be intentional in your parenting? Because I've said this verse many times. We are training up our child in the way he should go. And when they are old, they will not depart from it. So guys, I want to encourage you today to hop on and let's talk about how are we balancing our lives in this busy world? How are we communicating? How are we prioritizing our children and our families? Because it's the most important thing. So right now, I am putting in the Zoom. I'm putting in the link to Zoom. So come on over to our Zoom and let's continue talking about parenting intentionally. And let's pray over each other and celebrate the joys. All right, guys, I will see you on the other side. Have a wonderful week.